Hi everyone and welcome to another live stream. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for, people to join. Yeah. So if anyone is here, let me know. Okay, we have the IMDb page ready because today we're talking about Universal Monsters, which is the theme for my YouTube channel this month. And the last two reviews will be up tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So we can talk about, which one is your favorite. Yeah, which one do you like the most? Which one do you like the least? And I will also go through some interesting facts about each Universal Monster movie. So we can take them in the order that I've been reviewing them. So we can start with Frankenstein. But I'm hoping that you all are having a fantastic evening. So let me just get up the right Frankenstein. There it is. There it is. Oh, Brevin. Hi, Sarah. It was great to talk about Dracula with you this month. Can't wait to see what other events you plan in future. Well, thank you so much, Brevin. Yeah, it was very fun to watch your review of the movie. So thank you so much for collaborating with me. James, hi, Sarah. Well, hi, James. Happy to have you here. Suraj, hey, Sarah. Well, hi, Suraj. Happy to have you here as well. Let's see now. Trying to pull up the Frankenstein IMDb page. Let's see. Frankenstein, come on. Yeah, my computer is very, very slow. So hi to Care. Well, hello Queen. Well, hello and welcome. Happy to have you here. And as I said before, we're talking about the Universal Monster movies. So please let me know which one is your favorites. And if you haven't watched my review of those movies, then please do. Robert makes the cut. Well, hi Robert. Hi Sarah from Fontana, California. Well, hello. Okay, let's see. There we have it. Frankenstein. It's from 1931. So, I think we're all very familiar with this story. But we have Dr. Frankenstein dares to tamper with life and death by creating a human monster out of lifeless body parts. Yeah, so we know that. And creates his monster, which becomes Frankenstein's monster. So let's go into some interesting facts. There we have it. Okay. So, one fact is a microphone was placed in the coffin used in the funeral scene to amplify the sound of the grave dirt hitting the lid. Well, I actually, when I rewatched this movie, I kind of reacted to that sound because it sounded so crisp and just so, as they said, amplified. And now I understand why. Makes total sense. But yeah, I did react to that. I thought it was really well made. Try to care of Frankenstein just because of Herman Monster Lurch, etc. I feel like Jaws from Double Seven was kind of hulking like the monster. Nice. Sirach, Monster Mash. I like Jaws from the book better. Okay, okay. Well, I had a fun time rewatching Frankenstein, and I gave it a high grade. It was a good way to start off this month, for sure. Okay, so the monster's makeup design by Jack Pierce is under copyright to Universal through the year 2026 and licensed by Universal Studios Licensing Inc. So 4 more years, and that, yeah, copyright expires apparently. Interesting. Had no idea. Okay, so the monster in this film does not physically resemble the character in Mary Shelley's novel. It was makeup artist Jack Pierce who came up with innovations such as the monster's flat head, the bolts through the neck, the droopy eyelids, and the poorly fitted suit. Any future Frankenstein film that features any of these physical abnormalities is taking its inspiration from Pierce's makeup work. Okay. I mean, that makeup was really good, and the look of the monster was also very striking. Like when you first see the shot of the monster turning around, it was very iconic, and I felt like we're seeing something special, like truly special on screen. And it is. So, Steven Spielberg ruined Jaws for me. Really? Really? Well, I thought, his movie was really good, but I haven't read the book. So, Mary Shelley didn't describe his looks, did she? I honestly can't remember if she did or not. I have some tea here, so I'm just making sure it's still warm. I always get tea and then I forget to drink it, and then it's, cold. Classic Sarah. Oh, Peter! Sarah, did you order a thriller off the Vinegar Syndrome sale? Think I'll have to wait with it. No, I didn't. It was too expensive for me this time. I did order a few movies, maybe 5 or 6, so not a lot, but it was still pretty expensive. But I wish I could have ordered more, but at least I got a few of them. To either care, if you haven't yet watched Tales from the Crypt episode called Secrets, it's one of the best in the series. Ooh, I have seen many Tales from the Crypt episodes, but don't really remember a lot of the names. So maybe I've seen it, or maybe I haven't. Okay. Oh, good tea. This is actually tea which helps you sleep, and it's very good. Yeah, I sleep really well after drinking this. Okay. Let's see. A 20-minute test reel starring Bela Lugosi, the main character from Dracula, who was Dracula, as the monster, and directed by Robert Fiore, was filmed on the Dracula sets. This footage has not been seen since 1931, as it is considered lost. Only a poster featuring the vague likeness of Lugosi as a 30-foot colossus remains. Yeah, I was told that Ross, he commented on my review of Frankenstein that Bela Lugosi was actually offered to play the monster, but then he turned it down. But I'm happy, it went to Boris Karloff. Suraj, a Swedish cuppa. Yes, yes. It is big. That's a humongous cup. It is. Suraj, Bella is Hungarian. Yes, he is. I actually knew that. Yeah. Peter, same here. Thriller is too expensive, so I'll get it later. I ordered Girlfriend from Hell, Alley Cat, even though it's region A, and I don't have a region free player yet. Tiger Claws. I wanted to order Alley Cat, but as you said, it's the wrong region, so I had to skip it. Suraj, he didn't even know a single word of English. Wow. Peter, and Dixie Ray Hollywood star. I'll add some stuff to my order after this stream. Okay, nice. To hide a care. Sarah, do you have an IMDb page so I can see your movies? Yeah, I have. You just search for Sarah and my last name, which is really hard to spell. But I can, spell it out. It's, yeah, Sarah, and then GRIERCKSKY. Yeah, and it's pronounced Yeshki. So it's pronounced totally different than, it spells. Yeah. Peter, celebrity Sarah. Well, not really. No one really knows me. Not here in Sweden, anyway. Sarah Yeshki. Well, there you have it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't care. Mine ends in ski. Well, yeah, a lot of Polish names do. My last name isn't actually Polish, and it ends with a Y instead of an I, so, that is uncommon for Polish names to end with a Y. I'm sure some do, but in this case, no. Then, I'm a big James Whale fan of Invisible Man, Frankenstein slash Bride fame. His story is pretty fascinating. He was openly gay and also put on plays as a prisoner of war during war. Ooh, okay. I had no idea actually, but that's very interesting, especially considering that time. Suraj, well, mom thinks you are famous. Well, thank you. Say thank you to your mom. But I did a report on him in high school. Well, that was an interesting topic to cover. To hide a carrot stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, the most difficult aspect of casting was the monster. James Whale happened to spot Boris Karloff in the universe commissary and passed him a note offering a screen test, which Karloff jumped at. Karloff later joked that he was offended by being viewed as such an ugly character, since on the day the whale spotted him, he was wearing his most elegant suit and thought he was looking handsome. Oh. But he gotta play this iconic character, which then brought him more opportunities. So I guess he must have been happy in the end. But I had no idea that he passed him a note. Like, yeah, like when you see people do that in movies, they pass notes to each other. I get that image, the same image. Like James is sitting and he's like, "Can you pass this to Boris over there?" Suraj, James Whale was a brave mama. He sure was. To hide a care, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Ooh, haven't seen that one in a while. It's been a while. But I think I have to rewatch that one. Suraj, nowadays we send emails and such instead of paper notes. Yeah, it seems more efficient. Yeah. Oh, Boris Karloff is considered a late bloomer in Hollywood. So, Frankenstein premiered when he was 44 years old. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, you see, it's never too late to chase your dreams. Okay, so biographers have remarked that Bela Lugosi was right to turn down this movie, as the original script he was given portrayed the monster as a grunting, killing machine, and not the part eventually played by the British actor Boris Karloff. Neither original director Robert Flory nor Lugosi ever turned down this film as the end product because they never once read the James Whale script. Indeed, it was this director and Whale also scoffed at the original script and refused to do it, whose sensitivity overhauled the entire screenplay as he rewrote it completely, turning the monster into a caring, sensitive, and lost soul. What was assigned to Florian Lugosi was a monster with neither pathos nor heart, but a violent killing machine, a bit like what Karloff eventually portrayed. and would himself regret doing so in Frankenstein's son. Okay. I had no idea that there were like two different versions of the monster that were being portrayed or presented. Ben. I really like the special effects in Invisible Man. Amazing what they were able to accomplish with what seems like limited technology. I agree. I mean, that was spectacular. I'm like, how do you even do that? Especially during those times. Oof. Impressive. Peter, Vinegar Syndrome sent out an email like 5 hours ago with a $5 voucher and ordering for 20 or more on the sale now. So I'll use that. Nice. Suraj, are we gonna do a Hammer Horror Monster live chat next week? Well, I'm working so much next week, so probably not. Corey. Hello, Sarah. Well, hi, Corey. Peter, I kind of like the Swedish band Whale. Okay, I don't think I've heard of them actually. Suraj, Swedish Whale. Okay, let's move on to Bride of Frankenstein. Can't get stuck on one movie when we have 8 to go through, so 7 more. And Bride of Frankenstein is next on the list, of course. So, Bride of Frankenstein was released in 1935. So in this one, Mary Shelley reveals the main characters of her novel survived. Dr. Frankenstein, goaded by an even madder scientist, builds his monster a mate. So when I reviewed this one and rewatched it, I actually liked this one a bit better than the first movie. And I mean, the bride's just character and look is just so iconic. Even though we don't get to see her much, I think, what does she have, like 2 or 3 minutes screen time? But, you know, those 2-3 minutes are probably most important minutes in the entire movie, and it kind of makes the entire movie. It's really cool. So Rush Bride is the better film. Yeah, I agree. And it's one of my favorite Universal monster movies, for sure. So let's see some trivia. Okay. Not long before filming began, Colin Clive, who played Dr. Frankenstein, broke a leg in a horse riding accident. Consequently, most of Henry Frankenstein's scenes were shot with him sitting. That makes sense, because he's also lying in a bed. So that makes sense. I had no idea. But at least they were able to kind of cover that and make it that way. Okay, Boris Karloff protested against the decision to make the monster speak, but was overruled. Since he was required to speak in this film, Karloff was not able to remove his partial bridge work as he had done to help give the monster his sunken cheek appearance in the first Frankenstein. That's why the monster appears fuller of face in the sequel. Okay. Suraj, 3 minutes did it for most of us. Suraj, he took the meaning of break a leg literally. Yeah. Someone's like, break a leg, and he was like, yeah, maybe I should. To hide a character, we need a horror wizard of Oz. Sarah can play Dorothy and slay all the wicked witches. Oh, that'd be dope. That would be really dope. I would be up for that. Yeah. Elsa Lanchester, the bride, said her spitting hissing performance was inspired by the swans in Regent's Park, London. They're really very nasty creatures, she said. Okay. Kind of cool that you take your inspiration for a character from swans. Yeah. Okay, Boris Karloff sweated off 20 pounds, laboring in the hot costume and makeup. So that is a diet tip, you know, just play Frankenstein's monster and you lose 20 pounds. Suraj, I'm sure the monster eats. Yeah, I think so. I think he would be hungry. Suraj, never mess with a swan. They can take your arm off. Yeah, well, here, sometimes when I go to the park, there are a lot of like Canada goose here. And I know they are super aggressive. Like, you don't want to get up in their face and stuff. So I try to keep my distance, a few meters. I won't go any, closer to them because I know they are mean. To how to care. What movie you think Jack Nicholson did better in? American Werewolf in London or The Shining? Wait, it was Jack Nicholson in American Werewolf in London? Is that I honestly don't remember that. I have to see. Because he was in that other werewolf movie. What was it even called? I think it was with Michelle Pfeiffer, right? Uh, yeah, he isn't in this one, but I think you're thinking about that other one. Let's see. Jack Nicholson. Mm-hmm. Ah, Wolf. There we have it. Oh, it's been such a long time since I've seen Wolf, so I don't really remember him a lot. But, I'm sure he did a really good job. But to answer your question, I have to say The Shining because I remember his performance in The Shining a lot better. Okay, let's see. Elsa Lanchester was only 5'4", but for the role was placed on stilts that made her 7 feet tall. The bandages were placed so tightly on her that she was unable to move and had to be carried about the studio and fed through a straw. Wow, that sounds really uncomfortable. But she made that role iconic. So, director James Whale originally did not want a sequel to Frankenstein. For a time, Universal considered producing a sequel without Whale's involvement. One possible story included an educated monster continuing Henry's research, while another chronicled Henry's creation of a death ray on the eve of a world war. However, after 4 years of badgering by Universal, Whale agreed to do the film, and I'm glad he did. Super happy he did. Suraj Batman. They mean Wolf, and they both ended up in a Batman movie years later. That is true. Suraj Carrier Bride. Yeah. Okay. Several scenes were cut after censors' objections. Wow. References to the scandalous sexual arrangement of the historical Mary Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and Lord Byron were eliminated. Particularly the line of dialogue, "We are all three infidels, scoffers at all marriage ties, believing only in living freely and fully." Green's office also objected to shots they considered too revealing of Elsa Lanchester's cleavage in the prologue. Wow. Oh, okay. Elsa Lanchester's shock hairdo was held in place by a wired horsehair cage. Wow. Well, I mean, it must have been a lot of work to, get the right styling of the hair, but it looks amazing. So that is what matters. I don't know if it counts, but I guess if it's Universal, my favorite would be Nosferatu. I mean, Nosferatu is great. It is amazing. Okay, let's move on to the third movie. I think that was Creature from the Black Lagoon. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, and I also have this amazing box. Yeah, I think I got it for one of my birthdays from my mom when I was younger, really young. And I'm so happy with it. It's fantastic. So if we open it up, we can see like the pictures here. Oops. And then we see all, yeah, like here's all black and white, and then we get, I mean, the wonderful popping colors, which are beautiful. And then we also get this amazing booklet. I mean, it's pretty thick. Yeah. It looks kind of like this. I mean, super cool. And we also get these cool color cards. So just going to take out the ones we talked about. There we have it, and there we have it. So the first one was Frankenstein. And then we had The Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah. Oh, no. It fell on the floor. I will pick it up later. Okay, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. So now we're in the 50s. So this is from 1954. A strange prehistoric beast lurks in the depths of the Amazonian jungle. A group of scientists try to capture the animal and bring it back to civilization for study. I mean, of course, they try to do that. I feel that is like always the plot. So let's see some trivia. Okay, so Swedish director Ingmar Bergman watched this film every year on his birthday. I mean, it's a really good film. I really like Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I mean, the costume design and the makeup, fantastic. It looks so real. Because a lot of the monster makeup from these times kind of look, like rubbery, like really like suits, and yeah, not so well made. But this one really stands out. And I remember that first shot when you see like a hint of the creature. You see the hand coming out of the water. And then you see everything so clearly and so vividly. It looks really good. Okay. 2 different stuntmen were used to portray the creature. And therefore 2 different suits were used in the movie. Rico Browning played the creature when it was in the water and wore a lighter suit. And Ben Chapman played the creature when it was out of the water with a darker suit. Makes sense, makes sense. Ben the Gilman, yeah. Tidy Care Swamp Thing and Black Manta were definitely inspiration. Yes. From Creature from Black Lagoon, yeah. Peter Nicholson was in Batman and Pfeiffer was in Batman Returns. Wolf came after that, so no, that is not true. But I mean, they are in a movie. In different movies, yeah. That is true. I have to rewatch the Batman movies, especially the early ones. Haven't seen them in such a long time. So yeah, I can confuse them sometimes. Suraj, 1954, the year of Godzilla. Oh yeah, that is, yeah. Too high to carry. Godzilla is cool, but King Kong will always be the goats. I think if I had to choose between Godzilla and King Kong, my vote is Godzilla. Yeah. I just love the design, and yeah. Especially the early ones where the guy had to wear the suit. Suraj, they should have went claymation on the monster. Let's see. Okay, the creature's appearance was based on old 17th century woodcuts of two bizarre creatures called the sea monk and the sea bishop. Uh-huh. The creature's final head was based on that of the sea monk, but the original discarded head was based on that of the sea bishop. Okay. I don't think I've heard about these creatures before, but interesting. In this film, the eyes of the creature were a fixed part of the rubber construction of the suit. The actors who played the part of the Gillman could barely see, if at all. In the second film, the eyes have been somewhat ludicrously replaced with large, bulbous fish eyes to assist in the actor's vision. Okay. Wow. Suraj, sea monk, sea bishop, run. Julia Adams noted that making the film was an extremely pleasant process, that the cast and crew got along quite well. She also explained that she felt sympathetic toward the monster. Adams said, there always is that feeling of compassion for the monster, which is true. I think maybe it touches something in ourselves, maybe the darker parts of ourselves, that long to be loved and think they really can't ever be loved. It strikes a chord within us. Oh, that is kind of beautifully said, actually. But yeah, I mean, when I rewatched it, I did really get the sense of kind of having some compassion for the monster. So this was also originally produced in 3D. Hmm. Okay, Rico Browning, the stuntman who provided the underwater shots of the creature, once had to make an emergency bathroom visit while he was filming a scene. Browning had been underwater for several minutes and breached the water in full costume, next to an unsuspecting mother and her young daughter on the nearby shore. Browning said that they fled in terror once they saw him. He recalled they took off, and that's the last I saw of them. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know that someone's making a film and you see this monster creature coming up from the lagoon, then, you might get a bit scared. To hide a character. Yeah, Godzilla's cool. Kind of a hybrid of Spinosaurus and Stegosaurus. Yeah, I think the look is so fantastic, and I have that Godzilla, that big doll in my collection, and I'm so proud of it. Still in the box. Okay, so Rico Browning and Ben Chapman, the two actors who portrayed the creature, never met during the making of the film. Browning's underwater scenes were filmed in Florida and Chapman's scenes were filmed in California. They didn't meet until they both attended a convention in Florida 20 years later. I mean, what, wasn't there like an after party or something? Or I don't know. But 20 years later, wow. Okay, director Jack Arnold claimed that his main goal in the making of this film was to create a sense of dread. Arnold said, it plays upon a basic fear that people have about what might be lurking below the surface of any body of water. You know the feeling when you're swimming and something brushes your legs down there. It scares the hell out of you if you don't know what it is. It is the fear of the unknown. I decided to exploit this fear as much as possible. Yeah, which is true. Like if you're looking down on the water and you don't see what's underneath, it's always a bit, scary. Like, what is underneath? But Creature is also one of my favorites, but it's not the favorite. But it's definitely a movie that I will be rewatching a lot of times. Okay. A severe accident was narrowly avoided while filming the fight scene between the creature and Z. Ben Chapman, the stuntman who acted as the creature on land, and Bernie Gozier, who played Z, rehearsed the fight scene for several days. There was a particular need for the extended rehearsal since the creature's costume allowed for very little mobility or visibility. The scene called for Z to swing at the creature with a machete, and for the creature to grab his hand before he could complete the motion. When the scene was filmed with the actors in costume, Chapman missed Gozier's hand when he swung the machete at him. The blade connected squarely with the creature's head. Luckily, the machete was not extraordinarily sharp, and the thick rubber foam that formed the creature's head prevented Chapman from receiving any serious injury. Oh, that is a bit scary if you're in the costume. Wow. Louis, hey Sarah, I thought I'd just stop and say hi. And my channel will be coming soon, so stay tuned. Oh, that is awesome to hear. I will definitely be checking that out, but happy that you're dropping by. So, hi Louis. Mm. Oh, this is also the first film that Stephen King can remember watching. Hmm, had no idea. The famous creature theme music, really good, was composed and credited by Universal staff composer Hermann Stein. When the score was recorded by the Radio Symphony Orchestra of Slovakia in 2000, the CD notes included both a photo of Stein and a blow-up of his original creature manuscript. Stein, who also composed the music for Julia Adams' Swimming, contributed some 12 minutes of the score, whilst his Universal staff colleagues Henry Mancini and Hans J. Salter contributed 12 minutes and 16 minutes, respectively. A further 9 minutes were provided by the Universal Stock Music Library. I mean, the music when Julia Adams is swimming, really good. Really, really like that. Lewis, I hope everything is good with you. Yes, it is, and I hope everything is good with you as well. Linus, hey Sarah, listen to them. Children of the Night, what music they make. Ah, yes, classic. Good line. But okay, I think we have to move on to the Wolfman. It's the fourth one I reviewed. And the Wolfman is also one of my favorites. But first, here is the Creature from the Black Lagoon card. Really beautiful card. Look at that. And look at the creature. Yeah. It's fun seeing these in colors. Let's see, the Wolfman. There we have it. Okay, so now we're in the 40s. So the Wolfman is from 1941. Larry Talbot returns to his father's castle in Wales and meets a beautiful woman. One fateful night, Talbot escorts her to a local carnival where they meet a mysterious gypsy fortune teller. And we all know, Talbot gets attacked and bit by a werewolf, and he himself becomes a werewolf and starts killing people. And I actually reviewed this one with my friend David, and he actually had a lot of interesting information to share about this movie, which I had no idea about. So I recommend you to check out our review of The Wolfman. But let's find some trivia. The wolf that Larry Talbot fights was Lon Chaney's Jr.'s own shepherd, German shepherd. So the actor had his own dog in that scene, which is pretty cool. Suraj, aw, creature from the Swedish lagoon. Yes. Lewis, I rewatched The Exorcist today. I love the atmosphere in the movie. Yeah, it's so good. Lewis, The Wolfman is one of my favorite movies, hands down. I mean, it's so good. It's definitely one of my favorite werewolf movies ever. And I think the effects are really spectacular in that one as well. And also the story and the comparison to what was going on, with World War II and stuff like that, which I had no idea that the movie actually made a social commentary about until David kind of gave that information in our review. Okay, so Bela Lugosi, who is also in the film, actively campaigned for the lead role and ended up playing a minor supporting role, and he played a character named Bela. Yeah. But I think he did a really good job, even though it was a minor role, but it's a role that you remember. You do remember. So the Wolfman battled a bear in one scene, but unfortunately the bear ran away during filming. What few scenes were filmed were put into the theatrical trailer. Wow. Imagine fighting a bear and the bear actually runs away. I mean, oof. Could have been scary. So Universal originally planned the project for its horror superstar Boris Karloff. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's right, you can't fight a German shepherd in 1941. Louis, the effects are so good for how old it is and love the atmosphere. And that also got a creepy vibe. That is true. Suraj, Bear had better things to do. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, is it that late? Yeah, I have to go. Have stuff to do. Hmm. Have other people to kill. Yeah, you're boring. Bye. Oh, here we have another bear story. So Evelyn Ankers suffered a bad scare when a 600-pound bear, his sequence in the film was later cut, escaped its trainer and chased the actress up a ladder where she was pulled to safety by an electrician. I mean, that is really super scary. Yeah, like life just flashes before your eye, probably. So this film marks the first of 5 appearances by Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman for Universal Studios. Out of Universal Classics' canon of monsters, Chaney was the only actor to portray the same character in each of the studio's classic films and sequels. Hmm. Louis, did you see the remake with Anthony Hopkins? Yes, I did. Saw it at cinema and I do like it, but this one is better. For sure. Lon Chaney Jr.'s character is never once in the film referred to as the Wolfman. Hmm. Didn't even think about that detail. Jack Pierce achieved the Wolfman's iconic makeup primarily with a rubber nose and yak hair, which was singed with a curling iron attached to Lon Chaney Jr.'s face, arm, and legs with spirit gum. Hmm. Suraj, the bear knew he'd be cut from the film, so he chased her away. Dennis, Smart Girl is back. Hi, Dennis. Suraj, everything Universal makes is better in the past. That is kind of true. I like the atmosphere more in the older Universal movies for sure. Linus Frankenstein meets the Wolfman is good too. Oh, I've seen it, but it's been a long time, so I definitely have to rewatch more of these. Now I only took, the 8 classics, which I have in the box, but I have a few of the other sequels and stuff like that on DVD. Lewis, yeah, definitely love the original better, but for remake it's pretty good. I agree, and I normally hate remakes. The Pet Sematary remake made me so angry. I hate that movie. Haha, yeah, the Pet Sematary remake is kind of awful. Dennis, you watch Some Kind of Hate? Yeah, and Some Kind of Hate is really awesome movie. I love that in the movie. Okay. In this movie, we're told that a werewolf is a human being who becomes a wolf at times of year. When the wolf bane blooms and the autumn moon is bright, and the moon is never depicted in the film. Huh. This is the only one of the Universal series of Wolfman films in which the full moon is never shown. Okay. In the sequel, the folklore is changed to when the moon is full and bright. That is actually true. I think I kind of reacted to that. I was like, but they never show the moon in this movie. Mhm. The first transformation takes place with Talbot in an undershirt, although he's fully dressed in a dark shirt once on the prowl. Only the feet transform on screen. The third transformation features 17 face shots in a continuous dissolve. So, the Mummy remake with Tom Cruise is a crime against time. Yeah, but the Mummy remake or the Mummy with Brendan Fraser is so good. I think that wasn't a is a pleasure of mine. But I think a lot of people like it. But it's so good. I watched it so many times. And Lewis, are you looking forward to Halloween Ends this year? Kinda. I was a bit disappointed with Halloween Kills, but I'm hoping, that Halloween Ends will tie everything together in a good way. Suraj, the full moon was on holiday during filming. Yeah, they probably just missed it, so they were like, ah, Horror Gang. Hey, I love the Universal Monsters. Awesome! Let us know which one is your favorite. Suraj, Sweden is too cold for swimming. Well, it's getting warmer now, but still no swimming weather. Maybe in July, probably. And August, and then it's cold again. Horror Gang, they live strongly on my channel. Nice, nice. We'll definitely check it out. Mhm. Okay, I think we have to move on to the 5th movie that I reviewed, Dracula. Yes. There we have it. So, Dracula came out in 1931, same year as Frankenstein. So, Transylvanian vampire Count Dracula bends a naive real estate agent to his will, then takes up residence at a London estate where he sleeps in his coffin by day and searches for potential victims by night. I mean, we all know the Count Dracula story, but I think Bela Lugosi, he was perfect cast in this film. And rewatching it, I actually liked it more rewatching it this time than I did when I saw it for the first time when I was younger. So I'm really happy that I reviewed or I chose this theme for this month. Oh, and let's find the Wolfman card. Here we have it. The Wolfman card. So, trivia. Okay. In the scene where Dracula and Renfield are traveling to London by boat, the footage shown is borrowed from a Universal silent film called The Stormbreaker from 1925. Silent films were projected at a different frames per second speed, true, from that later adopted for sound films, accounting for the jerky movements and quicker than normal action of these shots. Yes, I did react to that when rewatching it time. I was like, they kind of jerk in a weird way and move quicker. I don't know, that's probably the frame rate. Or again, I think my favorite is probably The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man, amazing. I don't know, it's so hard, I love them all. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of hard to choose your absolute favorite, but I have like my top 3 or 4 definitely. Corey, hey Sarah, are you looking forward to the Jordan Peele movie called Nope and Black Phone? Yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them. Yeah. Uh, Dennis, Sarah, what slashers you watched on TV? Well, I have a lot of slashers in my collection, Blu-ray and DVD. So I watched a lot of them. But when I was a teenager, they used to play Friday the 13th, Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street on TV. Louis, sorry, Sarah, but I got to go to work early. But great talking to you as always. Take care and keep up the good work on your channel. Well, thank you so much. Bye, and hope you will have an amazing work shift. And see you next time. Okay. When Bela Lugosi died in 1956, he was buried wearing one of his many black silk capes, but not the one that he wore in Dracula. That one was put on auction by his son, Bela Lugosi Jr., in 2011. The starting bid being set at $1,200,000, $1.2 million. It failed to sell. Later in November 2019, the family donated it to the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, where it was being restored as of February 2020. It will be put on display along with an exclusive collection of prestigious and priceless golden age of Hollywood star props and artifacts. It ought to be noted that there was a persisting yet untrue rumor that being buried in one of his vampire capes was Lugosi's dying wish, when in fact it was decided by Bela Lugosi Jr. and his mother, Lugosi's ex-wife, Lillian Ark. The Lugosi family has long corroborated these facts to be accurate. Okay. While it is rumored that Bela Lugosi could not speak English very well and had to learn his lines phonetically, this is not true. Lugosi was speaking English as well as he ever would by the time this was filmed. I mean, it sounded really good when he spoke, so I didn't really react to like the way he pronounced things. I know he pronounced things to sound like, Dracula, but I was like, but that's the character. So I wasn't like, oh, he doesn't speak so well. I thought he did a really good job. Oh, Dracula's castle was a painting on glass in front of the camera. How cool is that? The coach traveling along the road was real, but the background was not. That's pretty cool. That they drew this castle on the glass, and that was being filmed. It's cool. I mean, you had to be so creative back then. Amazing. Oh, this is something that I really reacted to when I rewatched Dracula. So, cinematographer Claude Rayne achieved the effect of Dracula's hypnotic stare by aiming 2 pencil spotlights into actor Bela Lugosi's eyes. I mean, that was the first thing I noticed, that he had this kind of light shimmer directly like here. So it almost feels like he's hypnotizing the viewer when watching, because you're only light eyes. So that was such a cool and clever effect. just yesterday I watched Halloween, and 20 years ago watched Halloween 2. Nice, great movies. Peter, all right, think I've worked out the rest of my Vinegar Syndrome order now. Getting the hearse, Don't Answer the Phone, I'll Mark a Murder, and a few more, and yes, Fred House. Yeah, I wish I could order more also, but you know, my wallet is like, nope, you can't. You have to wait for the next Arrow sale, probably in July. Hopefully, like faster. So a Spanish language version, Dracula, 1931, was filmed at night on the same set at the same time with Spanish speaking actors. I've seen that one as well. I think I have it on one of my editions. I also have these movies on DVD. But I haven't rewatched it, so can't really remember what I think about it. There was no real musical soundtrack in the film because it was believed that with sound being such a recent innovation in films, the audience would not accept hearing music in a scene if there was no explanation for it being there. Example, the orchestra playing off camera when Dracula meets Nina at the theater. Okay. Oh, the opening music to this film is from Act 2 of Swan Lake, you know, the ballet. Had no idea actually. Didn't make that connection. After playing Renfield, Dwight Frye would find himself typecast. He found himself restricted to playing eccentric or jittery characters that had a manic edge to them, or criminal lunatic types. Suraj Count from Sesame Street is based on Bella's Dracula. Oh yeah, that is true. Ben, I can't blind buy Vinegar Syndrome movies anymore. I'll rent it for $3 first, or watch on Tubi before I buy the movie. Vinegar Syndrome is too hit or miss. I can understand you, but I'm willing to take the risk. I mean, even if a movie is really bad, I'm happy to have it in my collection, just because I love the editions so much. Peter, yeah, I only managed to gather not super much money from my Tradera selling lately, so I'm kind of overspending on this. Okay. I bought Brain Damage Arrow video with a cool slip today. It's beautiful. Oh, awesome. Okay. Let's find the Dracula card. Here is the Dracula card. Yeah. So we're moving on to the one that I recently reviewed, because I still have 2 more reviews that will be up tomorrow. But it is The Invisible Man. Invisible Man. There we have it. So, The Invisible Man, it's from 1933. A scientist finds a way of becoming invisible, but in doing so, he becomes murderously insane. Yeah. So, this is definitely one of my favorite ones, just because of the effect. That scene when he's unwrapping himself and revealing that he's invisible is brilliant. And then also, I think this one has a lot of like dark humor, like when he's killing someone by pushing their car off a cliff and just laughing while the car, you know, is crashing down, and he just has this hysterical maniacal laugh, which is it's so weird, but it kind of fits the scene, but it makes the scene kind of disturbingly funny. And yeah, and I think Claude Rains did a really fantastic job in this one, because you know, you don't really get to see his face, so he has to rely a lot on his voice. And I think he was a good voice actor. Peter, if I want to get a movie on Blu-ray, I don't want to first watch it on YouTube first to try before I buy it. That would take the fun out of getting it home and watching the Blu-ray. Suraj, just blind buys, they are cheap enough. Well, Vinegar Syndrome isn't really cheap enough. They are quite expensive. I mean, Arrow movies on sale, they're quite cheap. But Vinegar Syndrome, even on sale, are not quite cheap, unfortunately. But let's see some trivia. Okay. In order to achieve the effect that Claude Rains wasn't there when his character took off the bandages, James Whale had Rains dressed completely in black velvet and filmed him in front of a black velvet background. Whoa! Okay, so that was a really clever solution. Very clever. During the scenes with Una O'Connor, the hysterical pub landlady, James Whale struggled to control his own laughter as he adored O'Connor's humor. I mean, she was also in Bride of Frankenstein, but in this one, she was really overacting, just being hysterical, and it was kind of hard watching her. She kind of became very annoying in this movie. So, yeah, but I can imagine she was pretty fun to be around on set and just watching her overact. Okay, so Claude Rains' performance in this film inspired Mark Hamill's portrayal of the Joker. Very interesting. And also, Boris Karloff had been Universal's original choice for the role as the Invisible Man. Karloff was said to have turned it down because he would not be seen on screen. In reality, a quarrel with director James Whale broke up the relationship, and the director decided he wanted someone with more of an intellectual voice, and Karloff's marked lisp had also become an issue. Whale selected Claude Rains after accidentally hearing Rains' screen test being played in another room. Until this film, Rains had primarily been a stage actor, but it probably helped with the voice. Although he had appeared in one silent movie, Build Thy House, 1920, this was his first sound film. I mean, he did a good job considering a lot of actors that were in silent movies had a really hard time transitioning to sound movies. I mean, their voice just wasn't good enough, so to speak. But I think it helped that he was a stage actor. Peter, if you blind buy Vinegar Syndrome on sale, you can probably sell it again and get back all or at least most of what you paid. Peter, if you don't like it, I mean. Suraj, hit the charity shops if you want a bargain. Wow, sounds like a VS group on Facebook. Suraj, no wonder the guy turned invisible with her overact. You don't know how to each his own. If you don't like blind buying movies, don't leave. Some more for the rest of us. Okay, the Invisible Man and the Creature from the Black Lagoon are the only Universal monsters that were never used later by Hammer. Unlike Dracula, Frankenstein's character and creature, the Wolfman and the Mummy. Suraj, can you imagine Charlie Chaplin in a horror movie? I don't know. It's maybe like imagining Mr. Bean in a horror movie. Like, I think it would probably not work, or it would be totally disturbing. Like, I don't know. Maybe they should have given that one a try. Okay, here we have the Invisible Man. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to our two last movies, which I haven't reviewed yet, but will be up tomorrow. So the first one is the mummy. And the mummy is from 1932. So, an Egyptian mummy searches Cairo for the girl he thinks is his long-lost princess. And the mummy is, of course, played by Boris Karloff. And since I haven't reviewed this one yet, I'm not going to talk about so much what I think about it. Just, sharing some interesting facts. Okay. The discovery of Pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb and the alleged curse it contained inspired Universal to make this film. In fact, when Howard Carter, funded by Lord Carnarvon, opened the sarcophagus of King Tut in 1925, screenwriter John L. Balderston was present as a reporter for the New York World. Okay. Unlike the other Universal classic monsters, the other mummy movies have no direct relation to this one. The other films feature a different mummy named Caris, who is resurrected by Tana leaves to be controlled by a modern person, similar to a voodoo zombie. Okay. Suraj, isn't the Invisible Man owned by someone and not in public domain? I don't actually know that. Peter, charity shops are awesome. So glad I live in a city with at least a few good ones. So I don't care, just making dinner love still here. No problem, enjoy your dinner. Hope it's something really good and tasty. Okay, the film's poster holds the record for the most money paid for a movie poster at auction. More than $453,000. Wow. Ardeth Bey, the name Imhotep assumes after his exhumation, is an anagram of death by Ra. Ra is the Egyptian sun god. In the remake starring Brendan Fraser, Ardeth Bey was played by Oded Fehr, who was the leader of the Magi, the protectors of the realm. Okay. So several scenes meant to depict the various reincarnated lives of Anok-Senamun throughout history were filmed but cut from the final version. I would have loved to see that. The scenes depicted Anok-Senamun in ancient Rome in the European Middle Ages, among Viking raiders, and in France during the ancient regime. I would have loved to see those scenes. A lengthy and complicated reincarnation scene so important to the plot never made it into the film. This upset many people, including the film's leading actress Zira Johan, who was a firm believer in reincarnation. So, Death by Ra. Boris Karloff was virtually unknown when he appeared as the creature in Frankenstein. He created such a sensation that when this was made, only a year later, Universal only had to advertise Karloff, the mummy. Jack Pierce's makeup was considered so outstanding that Hollywood Filmograph Journal honored him with a special award, which was presented at a ceremony by Boris Karloff himself. After Pierce's death in 1968, the trophy was believed lost. Many years later, when a sink was removed from an old makeup studio at Universal, it was rediscovered. Okay. Boris Karloff's mummy makeup is based on the appearance of Ramses III. Makeup artist Jack Pierce spent 8 hours a day applying Karloff's makeup. This waste of time and the resources is incomprehensible, since a wooden dummy was clearly used in the close-ups. See his clogged nostrils? And Karloff in bandages was only used in the take where he opens his eyes. Accordingly, this was completely unnecessary and thought to be a Karloff demand, as he was never shown walking or even standing in full mummy bandages. Right? Mm. This is the only Universal monster of the time without a fictional antecedent. Large segments of the movie are scene by scene parallels of Dracula. An Ankh symbol, the ancient Egyptian glyph for life, is substituted for the crucifix of the earlier movie. Even Edward Sloan's character, Dr. Muller, is quite analogous to his Dr. Van Helsing from the vampire film. Okay, let's move on to the last movie. So this was The Mummy. Also a very cool card. So the last one is Phantom of the Opera. I have to say that this one is probably my least favorite of them. I just don't find this one as good or intriguing as the other ones, unfortunately. I'm not saying it's bad, but the other ones are just so much better and more interesting. Okay. So, an acid-scarred composer rises from the Paris sewers to boost his favorite opera understood his character or career. And it's from 1943, and it's actually quite long, 1 hour 32 minutes, because almost all the other ones are much shorter. Let's see some trivia for this one. Okay. So the original script revealed Claude Rayne to be Christine's father, who abandoned her and her mother in order to pursue a musical career. When this was excised from the final film, it left Claude Rayne's obsession with Christine unexplained. Maybe that was what I felt. I felt, it felt a bit unexplained and kind of unmotivated in some ways. Universal Pictures originally planned this film as a vehicle for its comedy team of Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. It also considered casting Lon Chaney Jr. as the Phantom, a role made famous by his father, Lon Chaney, and Joan Hall as the romantic lead. Mm-hmm. Claude Rains accepted to play the Phantom under the condition that no overdone disfiguration would be made. Jack Pierce succeeded in fulfilling his requirement according to the documentary included in the DVD release. Okay, so the budget for this movie was approximately $1.75 million. Whoa! Which included 100,000 to soundproof the still existing opera stage from Universal's Phantom of the Opera from 1925, silent film version. Well, all these trivias are like this long. It's like, ah. Over 25 years after the film's release, the British critic Tony Raines summed it up tersely in a magazine article with the words, "Too much opera, not enough Phantom." a judgment with which many would agree. I actually agree. I think, I mean, of course, the movie surrounds around the opera, of course, but I think there are a lot of opera scenes and not enough phantom scenes. They could have put in more of the phantom stalking and creeping and even killing people. Yeah, that would have been better, I think. I think all the opera shots and scenes kind of slow down the pacing of the film. Hmm. Of all the films considered to be part of Universal's classic monster collection, this is the only Academy Award winning film in the series, winning Oscars for Best Cinematography, Color, and Best Art Direction, Color, and nominations for Best Score and Best Sound. As of 2022, it is also the only film adaptation of the story to achieve this honor. Okay, I had no idea this had won 2 Oscars. That is actually pretty cool, even though I think it is the weakest in of all of these movies. And here is the card for Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, okay. And here I also get a little extra special bonus thing, and it says what every disc contains, bonus features and stuff like that. Oh, okay, so the Dracula actually has a bonus feature of Dracula, the 1931 Spanish version. It's pretty cool. Probably where I saw it. So that looks like this. Okay, so that was trivia of all of the Universal monster movies. So it has been fun talking about them. So I'll probably be here for maybe 2 more minutes. So any last comments, any last questions, just shoot. And now my tea is cold, as I said it would be. I completely forgot about my tea, as I always do. Okay, I'm going to put everything back together. Just love this box. And as I said, my reviews of The Mummy and of Phantom of the Opera will be up tomorrow. So I will film them before my work shift begins. I love this edition so much. Corey Bird, highly enjoyed your live stream, Sarah. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I understand you meant that you did. But I also enjoyed this live stream. So, you're not wrong there. Okay. Oh, okay, I think I will go to sleep now. It's pretty late, almost 1 a.m. here in Sweden. But thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks. During the summer, some people take vacations and stuff from my job, so I might have to cover some extra shifts. So I can't promise you that I will be here in 2 weeks. I might have to cover some shifts, and hopefully I will be here in 2 weeks. But I will of course let you know. So thank you so much for watching, and check out my reviews, which will be up tomorrow. Bye!